Hello. It's Monday afternoon. So, with respect to remedial works, we're moving forward slowly. Not that anything's going in the ground of any consequence just yet, but had a good meeting with the geotech engineers last week. And so what I need to do now is to put some pegs in the ground roughly where I want the wall to go at the top, and to then do what I'll call a topographical survey of that. So in other words, give them some measurements and of the ground level at different distances where the wall is going to go. So that was a very awkward way of saying it, but you'll see what I mean as we go along. So today I'm going to run a string line, clear a bit of vegetation, those kind of things, where I want the wall to go, and then I'll put some pegs in the ground roughly where I think we can put some posts and things, because they need to avoid the surfaces. And then I will get the builder to come and we can shoot some levels and figure things out. So that's the plan. I'll get after it. If you have watched any of the previous adventures on this bank, you will recognise both the acanthus mollis, that's the one with the big leaves, and the tree dahlias, both of which are down here in abundance. The tree dahlias are the stalky bits you can see. They both have significant roots and tubers variously. The tree dahlias have quite a tough crown at the surface level, where all the stems come up from, and the tubers are quite large and go down into the soil quite a way, both of which makes them hard to remove. If I leave even the smallest part of a tuber behind, it will grow. Over the years, quite a number of the stems of the tree dahlias have fallen over, either in the wind or with assistance from me, and the problem is that if they're still connected, they too tend to take root. I'm not going to get too fussy in removing everything at this point, as we will need to have a digger down here anyway, and that can deal with this more easily than I can. I started by digging out a big clump of tree dahlia, and because it was large, I just pushed it a bit further down the bank. After I'd done that, I reconsidered and thought that isn't such a great plan, as I will need to retrieve it or it will grow. I will probably end up pushing it out over the edge and collecting it from down on the drive. Along this bit behind the house, I want the wall about 2 meters from the house and parallel to it. Once it is about 2 meters beyond this corner of the house, heading over to that boundary, it will then change angle slightly and head towards the knee in the boundary where the post is and where that new fence finished. It'll become clearer as we go along. This is reasonably physical work, if you can't tell, so it was a good workout for me today. I'm not sure when the builder will get here, as I know he's really busy and is working a bit south of at the moment. More on this later in the video. And now I will put some pegs in, roughly in the ground to mark where I want to go. But look what I found. This is one of Kathy's weeding devices, and I suspect that that has been over there for quite some time, but it hasn't gone too rotten or too rusty, so it's obviously been in a relatively dry spot amongst some vegetation rather than being buried. So she will be pleased to have that back. I'll carry on. All I need to do at this point is to measure out the 2 meters or so from the house, and then put some pegs in the ground at various points along that line. I put the first peg in roughly where I think the wall will start, and then another one adjacent to the corner of the house. I then put another one about 2 meters beyond that, but on that same line. I then put others along the line so that when we shoot the levels it will give a reasonable idea of the contour of the land. I will indicate on the drawing what the spacing is between the pegs, so the exact spacing isn't critical. Once we have done the levels, and I put them on the drawing and send that to the engineer, they can work out how long the posts need to be and to have them sufficiently buried in the ground. Once we have that kind of thing done, we will be really starting to make progress. what I have done is I'm going to wait for the helicopter to go. There it is. So the boundary post where the boundary changes direction is this one in behind here. So I figure that's a good place to have the wall coming from. So it will go across here, and this is the tricky bit, if you like, where the slip is and beyond it. So I've run the line through there, and I think that is our best option, because if we can raise this bit up to that level, so that's probably about, I'm going to say 2 meters, because this is my eye level and I'm not 2 meters tall, but we want a level bit at the top of the wall. It's going to depend on the floor level of the house, because when we come along here, whoops, he said, falling down. This bit along here that's now covered in vegetation, all of this path needs to be dropped so that it's a certain distance below the floor level inside. It's not compliant as it is, so I need to make sure that this wall is low enough for that path to be low enough. So that's really what's going to govern how high the wall is. That's as much as I need to do today, really, with this. And so I'll go and have a cuppa, and then I will hopefully go and do some work on the trailer. Although I do have to say that this has been reasonably physical work, digging things out and wrenching things out. I had a couple of rests along the way, but now it's time for a cup of tea. So I will go and do that and then assess where to from there. Okay, see you next time. That's enough for today. See you later. This is some aerial footage that I recorded this morning that will give you maybe a better perspective on where I'm planning for the wall to go. The pink line on the ground indicates the line of the wall. As the footage moves from plan perspective to elevation perspective, You can see the white pegs, which give some idea of how far down the bank the foot of the wall will come. Hopefully that's helpful. If things go according to plan, the next video will have some more on the trailer mods. I have ordered the sheet metal for the sides, and that should be ready to collect next week. And then I hope to have that all fixed onto the trailer before the end of next week. As I am writing this, the sky outside is becoming darker and darker as a storm front is rolling in from the south, bringing with it snow to the hills around us, but hopefully not a lot of rain for us. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have been entertained. I'll see you next time. Bye.